Sean, what really stood out to me, man, from watching your highlight video was just the balance that you play with. Of you get a guy hitting you from one side of your leg when you're running the football, and you still keep your balance. Somebody trying to wrap you up, whatever it is, just the balance and the way you're able to stay on your feet. That's what really stood out to me from a running back standpoint, man. Now, my suggestions for your highlight video are the following. Okay, have an information slide at the beginning. Now, you had some of this information spread throughout a couple of different slides, but now it's mainly let's put it all into one, okay, and add a couple more things. The best way to go about this, all right, is to go on Canva, and this is free, all right, you can do this on a slide. You put your name, school, graduation year, position, height and weight, X account, email, and phone number, okay? Put all that information on the left, put a picture of you on the right, download that, and then upload that to the very first thing on your Huddle highlight video, okay? So now when the coach pulls up your film, all the information's right there at the very beginning. Okay, they're not having to watch 8 seconds in or, oh man, what did I miss? Did I get that info? Did I not? It's all right there for them. Okay, they're not missing anything. So make sure we do that, because with how short a coach's time is, all right, it's very valuable. If we don't have that information on there, say your X account, okay, that was one of the things you didn't have on there. Sometimes those coaches like to go find you on X. If they can't do that, that's going to hurt them in wanting to recruit you. Okay, because they don't have the time to be able to go do that stuff. So I've seen coaches pass on kids for that instance. All right, so make sure all that information's on there. Next, remove background sounds. You had some clips on there that had background sounds, so make sure all those are gone. And the reason being we want to do that is because we don't want to have anything on there that's going to distract that college recruiter from evaluating your film. All right, we want to make sure that because when these coaches are doing, they're watching 60 to 100 kids in a day. Okay, and they are sitting in a dark room with a lamp on, music going. This is exactly what I did, and you're just watching. And sometimes when music comes up or background sound comes on or there's captions that pop up, that stuff kind of distracts you as a coach. Okay, you're in a zone until that stuff pops up, so you don't want to have that happen. Okay, so make sure that we've got that stuff, those background sounds off. Okay, now going to your order of plays, you have yours pretty solid. Of you want to do your offense first, your defense, and then your special teams. Okay, now the reason being we want to do this, all right, is because that way a coach can come up, say a defensive coach, hey, I can cut this clip, I can watch the defensive plays and be done. Okay, that way they can go to those specific things. They don't have to watch all the offense mixed in, because they're more focused on what can you do on the defense side of the ball. Okay, so make sure you've got those in that correct order. Now, within that order, we want to go to our sections. All right, and with that being said, okay, we want to check our sequence of plays. All right, which is we're going to start off with our TDs. Then we're going to go to our explosives. That's anything 15 to 20 plus yards down the field. Then we're going to go to any blocking stuff you got, because no block, no rock. So if you got something coming up, right, for this season, put that in there. The remaining offensive highlights. All right, this is not necessarily an explosion play, but still a good play that showcases what you can do. All right, so add that in there for the upcoming year. Turnovers, same thing. Any PBUs, all right, TFLs, that's anything at the line of scrimmage or behind. All right, any big sacks, and then the remaining defensive highlights, kind of the same thing. Not necessarily one of those select categories on the defensive side. All right, but still something that showcases what you can do. And then finish that off with your special teams. Okay. Your kicking stuff, right? Your best punts, that type of deal. That's what you want to have on there, right? So, like I said, I know some of them you may not necessarily have, but that's just for your upcoming future. So you know when you go into this year and you're making that mid-season highlight, boom, I've got one of those things. That's a good play. I can put that in there. Okay, that way you're prepared. Now, with that being said, with the film we've got right now, the timestamps I've got on here is what I would start off each section with. Okay, and the reason being we want to do that is because you want to put your best play to start each section to be able to capture that coach's attention to keep him watching. Right, that's a very big deal. It's going to help out because, like I said, they're watching that many kids, 60 to 100 kids in a day, and within a minute, if they don't see something, they're going to go on to the next kid. So we're going to put all those plays, all those TDs you got, put them at the beginning. The explosives, same thing. And with any section, you want to have about 3 to 5, maybe 6 plays. Okay, and our film only needs to be about 3 to 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, so you're perfect right where you're at. All right, now going to this play here, all right, the 109 mark for your touchdown. This right here is going to get a coach's attention. You're on the goal line, boom. Okay, and we're going to talk about this here and working on leveling up here later on. Okay, just with physicality and strength and stuff like that. You're showing it right there. That's going to catch the coach's attention. Okay, so that's a great one to start off with there. Now, next, going back up here to the 23-second mark. All right, and this is just for your explosives, 15 to 20. Okay, showing kind of that burst, that long speed you got. Now, one thing I do want to say on this play, if this is a touchdown, okay, because this is one of those deals of you can let it play. If this official raises his hands for a touchdown, let it go a little bit longer. Show that it's a touchdown. Okay, then put that in your touchdown section. All right, but for your explosion, that works right there. Okay, next, the play right after this, the 33-second mark. All right, great job here. Okay, boom, showing the patience right here. All right, bouncing outside. Okay, and being able to take off, still being able to pull away, beat them with the angle. Okay, and be able to get a big play out of it. That's a great job there. Okay, like I said, follow that up with your blocking, remaining offensive highlights. Then you're going to switch to the defensive side with your turnovers, PBUs, and then your TFL. All right, at the 130 mark here. All right. And I know you had a few of these, so just make this is the best one I see. Boom, you get there first, make initial contact, and you're 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. It's a great job there. Okay, go to your sacks and your remaining defensive highlights. The play right after this, and like I said, the reason I kind of threw this one with the remaining because of the plays not necessarily at the line of scrimmage. It's more a couple yards downfield, so it still shows what you can do if you're not getting outran by a linebacker. You're still able to meet him there 2 yards. Okay, so that's a great job there, really showcasing what you can do. And the one for the special teams. All right, the play right after this, the 144 mark. All right, what I would do is if you're the one punting, because I know you put that down as a position for you, go ahead and put a spot shot on you there so the coaches know that you can punt. All right, now if it's not, then put you wherever you are. Now, like I said, great punt here, all the way back to the 15. Okay, but then exactly how you did it when you came into the screen right here, you put a spot shot on you. That is a very good job. Okay, so great job there. Finish that off with that section. Okay, and then add your other punt there at the end. All right, so like I said though. Change that information slide up, okay? Make it 1. Remove the background sounds. Change the order of plays. Change your sequence of plays, all right? And then overall, this will provide a more dynamic highlight video for college coaches. Now, after going over the game film feedback, let's take a look at what divisions you should target, all right? I'm basing this off of the most recent highlight video, which is exactly what college coaches are going to do and where the athlete can receive a scholarship right now, okay? This is based on a few criteria, all right? First thing is the graduation year, okay? It is your guys' time is right now, okay? You guys are the ones coming up. They're hitting spring ball, boom, they're out on the road. They're going to be recruiting you guys, okay? So we're going to kind of hit the ball rolling. We'll talk about that here in a second. All right. Next is size, foot speed, long speed, and strength. That's what a college running back coach is going to look at. Okay. And this is more of a current evaluation right now, not necessarily projected of what it's going to be at the midseason highlight. Okay. Right now, what we're on. All right. With that being said, the levels you should look at today for a scholarship are mid to upper D3 and lower NAI. All right. Now, you should start getting interest from these schools and if not offers. All right, from these college coaches at these levels. So if not, you need to start the communication process with these coaches through emailing and calling them right now. Okay, like I said, we got to get on the roll for this. So when they hit the road, they know where they're coming. They know that they're going to come see me or see my coach at school and get information on me. All right, you need to start getting your name out there through social media. DM these coaches. Make sure you're following them on X. All right, send them your updated highlight video. Okay, but make sure we're getting that out there now. Because here's the deal: you need to know whether or not these coaches, because camp season's coming up, right? And if you've been doing all this year in communication, you need to know if they like your video or not and upon getting ready to go to camp, okay? Because if they like your video and you go to these camps, you can introduce yourself and start building that relationship. That's going to be a huge deal for you, okay? And if not, sometimes we want to go to these bigger camps and spend more money and stuff like that to where we just wasted money, maybe not got as much out of it. Because as a college coach, when you go to a camp with 1,000 kids and you don't know who you're looking for, it makes it very difficult, okay? So when we're going to these camps where these coaches are inviting us and wanting us there, that makes a big difference, all right? So make sure we're doing that with those prospect camps. And like I said, when you develop that relationship with that coach because he likes your video, you introduced him. Now, when you send him that midseason highlight, he's going to have that relationship with you and know who he's watching. Okay, he's going to remember you doing that cut or that one-on-one against a linebacker, all right, at camp, and see that translate to the video. Okay, he's going to remember you running that speed on that 40. He's going to see that translate. All right, but here's the deal: how can we also go attack these levels and get better? All right, my suggestion, okay, to improve your game that translates to college football and possibly a higher division are the following. First thing is strength training. Okay, we got to make sure we're adding good weight. This is all going to come through explosion and power. Okay, you hear them talk about guys. You just look at the combine that they had a few weeks ago. Okay, they were talking about their burst. They got to have that burst, kind of like I talked about on the big explosion play. You cut to that second level, and bam, you were gone. Okay, got to have that burst with that explosion. All right, but at the same time, like I talked about with your goal line deal of who's going to get that extra yard and break those arm tackles. All right, when it's 4th and 1 and you're on the goal line, they got to know you're going to still do that exact same thing that you did in high school that you're going to do in college. Okay, adding good weight. All right. But with adding that good weight, okay, that explosion and that power, yeah, we might be benching a lot of weight and stuff like that, but it's got to translate with that explosion to the field. Okay, got to be able to take on those one-on-one hits, that blocking and everything else. That's going to translate to our foot speed, dot drills, ladder drills, and cone drills. Okay, because we can't slow our feet down if we're getting stronger. That's why it's got to be a good weight. Okay, got to be able to put that foot in the ground to get vertical when that crease opens up in outside zone or pin and pull. Okay, so we got to make sure we're working on that foot speed. Next, going to long speed. It's track season. We got to be in track right now. Okay, that's going to help our speed training. All right, say they split you out a receiver or a wheel route from a running back position, you get called for the deep ball, you got to be able to take the top off. Okay, like I talked about that one with the second level. When you hit that second level, you got to be gone and not be able to get caught. Okay, we got to work on that long speed. Continue to develop that little bit of running back craft. Okay, working on bag drills. Okay, got to be able to press inside zone and a jump cut and hit that backside A gap and get vertical. All right. Also, as a running back, you got to be able to develop a deep and quick game route tree mastery. That's going to help out with a coach knowing what he can do with you because offensive coordinators at the college level are flexing that running back out more and more. Okay, you see it in the NFL. They're going to flex that guy out, bring him back in. They got to know what they can do with you. All right, working on jugs and tennis ball work. That's going to help that hand-eye coordination. Okay, when I coach receivers, every small drill we did, we finished with a catch, whether it was with a football or tennis ball. All right, next, ball security. Okay, you got to have that thing high and tight. All right, you can practice this while you're doing footwork drills, sprints, brag drills. This is going to be that muscle memory because if you can't protect the football, your chance of playing is going to go down. All right, and then lastly, your flexibility. Pre and post training stretching. Do this on your own if you guys aren't already as a team. It's going to be that individual work that's really going to help out because that's going to help injury prevention. And here's the deal: your best ability is your availability. That's going to be the same thing going into the senior year. If you're dinged up and nicked up, okay, that's going to hurt our chance of getting video on the film, okay, which then is going to hurt us getting an offer. But you go to the college level, you're dinged up and nicked up, that's going to hurt our chances of making a depth chart even better, okay? So, but with talking about these improvements, all right, that's what a college running back coach is going to look at. So double down, do all these things, hit it hard, and if it translates to your video, okay, this can help you level up your evaluation and possibly have an opportunity at that mid to upper NAI level, possibly the lower D2 level. Okay, but Sean, at the end of the day, man, everything will come down to your individual work, your outreach, as well as your marketing on social media and your relationship building with college coaches. This season you got coming up in your life, getting ready to be done. That relationship is going to be huge with college coaches, right? Which is why the next step is your athlete interview. Where you're going to get interviewed with the coach and get coached on your communication and your interviewing skills, which is critical for the conversations you got to start having with college coaches. So make sure you watch the video beforehand and be ready to go. If you have any questions, we'll be able to answer them at the end of the interview. Thank you.